What's up, everybody? Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, I'm going to go over some results because I want to, um, I guess, pat our company on the back because we normally didn't do this. So only when people feel like stuff isn't being done, they talk about it. So we want to talk about stuff that's being done. But I want to say something at the beginning, and I've said it before on videos that repairing your credit is harder than losing weight. And the reason why I say that is because if you're trying to lose weight, that's all up to you. You're 100%. You whatever you eat, whatever you do, exercise, all of that stuff, that's 100% in your control. But when you're trying to repair your credit, you're trying to get out of debt, there's a part of it that's in your control, and then there's a part of it that you don't control. And unless you're some type of crazy, deranged individual, there's no way that you're going to be able to control what someone will do. I don't care, even if you have a communications open with a company and they did a settlement with you, you still cannot make them do the settlement amount that you want. So, what I see a lot of people do is they spend so much time focused on what they can't control and they don't focus on what they can control. What you can control when it comes to repairing your credit is the process of continually submitting the work that needs to be done. I wish that I could tell you when certain files would be completed. I wish that I could tell you how such and such company processes their information from within. I wish that I could be inside of each of the three major credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and LexisNexis to make them do their processes faster. I wish that all of their employees that work for those companies, the thousands of employees, when they received disputes, requests for investigation, that they would put it into a file and really go through with the investigation. What I can tell you, and you can do your own research, and you can see from the lawsuits that have been placed against the three major credit reporting agencies, is that even when they get information that they know, and the only way that they know is by someone submitting it, that they still didn't do anything about it. And so this gets back around to what is in your control. Because what you're probably thinking of right now is, well, why should I even continue if they're not going to do it? The law states they have 30 to 45 days to do stuff. Well, number one, right now, with everything that's going on with COVID, they have a 60-day extension and they have another 60-day extension just to even process the mail. And you don't have to take my word for it. Give them a call and see what they say. But what do you control? You control the process. If you're working on your credit yourself, you control that you continue working on the process. If you have us do it or some other company doing it, it better be us doing it. But if you have us doing it, what we control is the process, submitting the paperwork over and over, getting it into the hands of the individual that's going to process it for a real investigation. That is the way it happens. Now, I want to talk about the results that we have here. We have a portfolio recovery, $12,000 debt. Uh, Number one, taken off of all three credit reports. Also, debt collectors said that they're not going to come after them for the debt. Here's another one here that just followed my information on what to do with Santander. I just said, keep on it. Keep on it. They're going to play games with you. You have to stay consistent. Ended up getting a settlement on the vehicle for $1,200. Here's another one here. Santander agreement. The client, no, this is a YouTube, no, this is a client, owed $18,000 on the vehicle, settled the vehicle for $5,000 right here, settlement. Here's another one here. Person just said they're very pleased seeing results. Keep up the work, you guys. This is someone that we told We just said stay in the process. We can't tell you when things are going to happen. They kept a positive mind, and things are happening for them. This is another one, medical bill. They got the validation, debt validation. They're not going to come after the individual for the medical loans. Here's another one here. One, two, three, four, one, two, three medical bills and one credit card collection, all deleted from credit reports. Here's another one right here. This is uh, medical bill. They're saying that they reviewed the file. They notified that they notified their client. This is a debt collection company. They talked to their client who was a medical facility. They stated that they do not want to go after them for the money after the debt validation, and that they would remove them from all three credit reports. Here's another one here. This one here was a This one here, okay, was a court summons. We did the court summons response, third party debt collector. They decided that they're not going to go after the client for the money. These are results right here. We get other results all the time. Uh, but I always tell people what you have to do is you have to, number one, you have to stay positive. If you do not have a positive mindset, all you're going to do is poison the well because you're wishing, you're hoping, you're bringing into the universe bad things to happen, and you will always get what you ask for. Even if you consciously or not, you're just waiting for something bad to happen. I always use an analogy with relationships. If you have always had bad relationships and then you go and get into another relationship and you bring that baggage to the new relationship, you're going to get the same result from a different person. That's because you didn't change. If you want to change what you've been doing with your credit and debt, because if we're going to be upfront about all of this, is that you made the problem. Every issue that is on your credit reports, unless you were a victim of ID theft, was 100% something that you did. Now, the way you get out of it, that's going to be a totally different thing. But you need to take full responsibility for what's on there, unless you were a victim of ID theft or some type of taken advantage some way or somehow by the original creditor or a debt collector that purchased your debt. So you take full accounting of that, and now it's time to get into the process of of uh, of fixing your credit. And the part that you control is the part about the process, but you do not control what happens when it gets to the companies that's doing the actual investigation. And like I said, you don't have to take my word for it. You can see that there's numerous multi-million dollar lawsuits that went down with all three credit reporting agencies because what they're doing is they're receiving millions of documents each and every day in there, and there has to be something that is either broken or their mechanism for processing uh, disputes that are being sent to them is not 100% effective. That's why you can have results with one bureau, and then you can have items come off of your report with the same bureau, and then other items that you sent in for dispute did not come off. Or you can have items come off from one of your bureaus, and then you send it to another bureau, and nothing comes off. And keep in mind that these are three independent companies. They don't check with each other and say, well, TransUnion took that negative information off. Why don't you take it off? They don't even care about that. So that's a game that you don't even want to get into. You send them a letter saying that TransUnion took it off and you want Experian to take it off, they're going to laugh at you. That is not the way you want to attack it. What you want to do is you want to get into the process. And that's where you're in the process of doing the work, just like you go to work every day. You do that every day, you work on it every day, and you will see at some point in time that the results will work, even if what you thought about having to happen on your credit reports if you had an issue on there or something, or various issues on there, no matter what, if you work on something, if you continue on the process, at some point, either everything will be corrected or you will see an improvement to where you'll be able to go to the next step. And sometimes the next step might be where you have to do settlements, like, so, you dispute what you can dispute and get off what you can get off, and then you go into a phase where there might be certain creditors or collectors that have proven and done a full validation of the account that's on there. And then the next phase for you to be able to go 100% through your credit repair process is to do a settlement on that account. There's nothing wrong with doing a settlement on an account. I've seen videos out there where people say don't never pay a collection, and it's crazy to pay a collection. Well, they're not telling you the full story. If a collection is fully validated by a third party debt collector, either if they've been assigned because they were hired by the original creditor, or if they purchased the debt and they went through all of the legal uh, uh, documentation, they provide you with all the legal documentation to substantiate that you would have to pay them. You don't have to pay them that full amount, but that they can legally go after you for that debt. Then I would say, if I was in that situation, the next step that I would do, just so I can be done and over with, and make it through the full credit repair process, is to go into a settlement phase on the account. There is nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I've had to do it before with a major account. Uh, and there's other people that have done it, and you will rebound and make that money right back, because you're going to have a free and clear mind. When your mind has gotten rid of those worries, those fears, all of that baggage, when you get rid of that baggage, you're able to start free and clear, and better things, good things will start to happen to you in the future. You just got to be willing to just focus on what you control. And so, what you control, and I'll say it again, what you control is the process of submitting what you want worked on. The process of submitting settlement offers. The part you don't control is the process once it hits their office. For if it's with the credit reporting agencies, or if it's with a collection or a creditor with submitting a settlement. That's the part you don't control. So uh, I say it over and over again because people, they fight too hard in the area of what they don't control, and that's why they get frustrated, and that's why they quit. You have a lot of quitters when it comes to people that are claiming to want to repair their credit. What they do is they get started, run into some roadblocks, and because these are roadblocks that are not anticipated, because no one is going to have the same roadblocks. They think negative all the time. They're just waiting for something bad to happen, and then all of a sudden they just quit. And some people quit right when they're like right on the edge of success. There was a book, uh, I forgot the name of the book, but if you go and read Napoleon Hill's Laws of Success, there's a section in there that talks about it. Like for most people, the reason why most people are not successful is not because they didn't try, it's because right before they were going to have a success, everything looks bad, like it's just not going to happen, and it's like it's a test. It's like it's a final test that you have to go through to prove that you really want what you want. And that's like everything seems to be like down, and then the people who stayed through that last down period where it was like getting going straight down, all of a sudden a good thing happening. And that's why people will be like thinking like a miracle happened. Like the ones that really follow through the process with our company, when it finally happened, it's like some of them feel like it was a miracle. When it's really not a miracle, it's like you made it through the test. And what I tell people to do is to think about that, carry over the strength and the willpower of sticking through it from what they did with us, and take that into other things that you're doing in your life, because it's all it is different situations, but it takes the same uh, type of willingness to stick through it for anything that you do, for anything that you do. So I tell people when they've made it through our process, I'll remind them, hey, use this same process, the same thought process of not wanting to quit when you're ready to quit. Use that same process and take that on with other things that you're doing in your life, and you will see that you won't be a quitter, because there's a whole bunch of quitters out there. Like, the world is full of people who start and quit, start, quit, start, quit. And everybody starts and quits at a different time, but they usually quit at the time that they're used to quitting. And that's when it starts to get very tough, to where they don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. They're afraid, so they start thinking more of the disappointment. The reason why they think about the disappointment is because they're comfortable in the disappointment, because the disappointment blanket that they put over themselves, they're used to that blanket. They know what that feels like, so they will go backwards because they feel good that way. That's why a lot of people are not successful, is because they feel comfortable not going through the frustration that it's going to take to be successful. And what they don't know is that every person that's been successful had to go through that frustration. And then when they broke through that frustration, they were successful. But most people are quitters, and they will not go through that frustration. As soon as they see that wall, most people will just stop and quit. Some people will go through a little bit of the frustration, but then when it gets to be too uneasy, they will quit, and they will drop from doing what they're doing. And then the very few, that's why if you look at a pyramid and you say the people at the top, why is it so few people at the top? Is because so few people are willing to go through that frustration and not quitting. Very few people. So I want you to not be one of those people. I want you, and we're not talking about being at the same level as someone that's way very successful. What I'm talking about is you being successful for you. And that means that you have to be honest with yourself and not be a quitter. See it through all the way 100%. And you will see, even if what you hoped would be the success, it might look a little bit different, but you will look back and you will see that you're in a better position than you were when you started. And sometimes that's the way that success is gauged. Success doesn't always look the way that you imagined it, but if you're able to move on in a better position, that is also success. So what I need you to do right now is I need you to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, I need you to hit the like button right now. Hit it. Get notified of new videos. If you need help with your credit, go to thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. If you can follow that process, that's the process we're going to take you through to repair your credit. And you can sign up with our company. If not, no hard feelings. You can go with someone else. If you need your credit reports and scores, please go to the number 3scores.com. Those are both listed right here, and the links are below. Also, if you have debt collectors coming after you, I want to give you my free letters on. I have a statute of limitations letter for debt collectors who purchase old debt that's past the legal statute of limitation to collect. I also have letters for cease and desist. If you're getting a letter from a debt collector who purchased a debt, I want you to send a cease and desist letter to them immediately. This can sometimes stop them in their tracks. And then if it's not past statute of limitations and they disregard the cease and desist letter, then your response letter is going to be a debt validation letter. I have all three of those letters available for you. The links are below this video. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you And until next time.